Pit Viper guy, live in the flesh. Here I am. You know what I mean? This is the look of the hour, the look of the day. And in addition to that, I did add a nice little fashion statement such as this boot here because I happened to sprain my ankle while snowboarding. Colo, can you roll the clip? Ouch. Yeah, that's
Look at you go.
Yeah, look at that one. Yep. I deserve that. So we're over here with a nice snowy day and a sprained ankle on a beautiful Sunday. And today, my guest for the Middleman Podcast is no one other than Marty from the CRSA Sprints. Welcome, man. Thank you for being here. All the way from Buffalo.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on. This was perfect timing to get this to work because I was in Wilkes-Barre this weekend for a racing motorsports conference / expo. And worked out perfectly. I could come by here as it was a 20-minute drive from the hotel to see you before I head home.
How often do you come to Scranton? Is this your first time here?
No, I come here basically every January.
Okay.
For this. That's when the expo happens. So, but last year I actually had not been this area in particular since I think 2018 when I was attending the Indy race at Pocono plus Scranton Wilkes-Barre Row Riders game.
The Indy race at Pocono, is that that's the real big race that they do every year for the Tricky Triangle, right?
That was IndyCar, but actually, you know what? Technically, I was at NASCAR Pocono in 2023 too. So I guess you could mention that.
Yeah, man, racing. It's been my first season in racing, and I'm over here repping my brand, my peoples, the SBR, the Smith Brothers Racing, Mr. Johnny, the Firecracker Kid, and the Music Man, Mr. Mikey Smith. Those are my people, and you're here from CRSA Sprints, a representative of the entire organization, man. So what do you do for CRSA? I know that you're an announcer, but it seems like you're really important on race days, and I'm sure before and after race days.
So I am their announcer and media director. The media director, specifically the public relations side of things.
Okay.
I'm doing the press releases before and after the races, or if we get any news in or during the off season. I'm in charge of the social media on the Facebook page and the X pages, which is a lot of fun to control that. And then
I didn't know you guys on an X page.
Yeah, we do actually.
Okay.
It's not a lot of traffic compared to Facebook though.
Twitter.
Yes, Twitter. And then I am also assisting one of our scorers on the My Race Pass duties too from time to time in case he's too busy. Then I'll help him out.
So did you go to school for any of this type of okay, so you went to school for what exactly?
So I went to 3 different colleges. I went to Genesee Community College, got my associates in communications and media arts, transferred immediately to SUNY Brockport, got my bachelor's in journalism and broadcasting. I still work with them on a not full-time or part-time, but a contractual basis when needed as their play-by-play broadcaster during their sporting events. And then a couple years later, I got my master's online. Actually, it happened, I think, was it last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I think it was, from St. Bonaventure University in sports journalism.
For sports journalism. So you've always been attracted to sports growing up, kind of?
Yep.
Okay.
Big sports guy.
What is your favorite sport?
Racing.
Really?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. People ask me if there's a sport I like to call outside of racing. It's hockey. As you can see, big Sabres fan.
Okay. Yeah. Hockey is one hell of a freaking sport, man. I love it. I love going to, just any type of hockey game and just experiencing that atmosphere. And there's pain being left out on that ice, man. They're putting in pain each and every game, man.
It's a grueling sport.
Yeah.
I give those guys credit because I can't skate. I can't take big body checks like what they're doing. I can't fight. I'll give them credit. They are some of the best athletes out there.
Did you do any sports growing up at all?
Yeah, I did cross country in the fall, swimming in the winter, and tennis in the spring.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So, and you never tried racing at all?
Go-kart track is one thing.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Go-kart track at a young age, I'm assuming?
No. Just like, the recreational go-kart tracks that you can't bump or anything like that. It's all about the fastest lap time. I love doing that.
Very nice,
I'll take my GoPro with me and a helmet. I'll mount it on top of that. I just look at POVs.
Have you ever done, so I had the experience yesterday of observing the Chili Bowl for the first time.
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, I got invited for Chili Bowl and I thought it was chili night. So I show up and there's no freaking chili, but they have bowls. And come to find out the Chili Bowl is actually a well-renowned racing event that happens every year in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
In Tulsa.
In Tulsa. And it's an indoor venue, an indoor space. And I think there were like 500 cars there yesterday.
400 midget cars. Midget,
Yeah.
it's got the same chassis design as a Sprint, but a little smaller, and it doesn't have the wings on it like a Sprint car does.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I want to go to the Chili Bowl. Every year it's one of my favorite races to watch. It's not like the Tulsa Shootout. You heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I'm not too.
Okay.
Don't understand it.
Same building, same racetrack.
Uh-huh.
They have 2,000 cars there. 6 classes. I think you can race, like a driver can race like up to all the classes except for junior sprints. Obviously, and maybe another class. But yeah, they have 2,000 cars there.
How many cars do they race on the track max? Because like I was watching yesterday and there were a lot of collisions. They actually have a whole segment dedicated to
the
flips
counts.
and chips is what they call it.
Because those cars are easy to flip.
Yeah.
I think I want to say like 24, like a normal dirt race. I can't remember.
Yeah.
However, though, like at like the Tulsa Shootout, there's like up to like I think this year was like 434 races during the Tulsa Shootout from like we're counting from like heat races
That's
all
insane.
the way to the feature.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That is a long day. And the race days for CRSA sprints are extremely long as well. I mean, I had the pleasure of going to my first race this year was
wasn't it Woodhull?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Woodhull.
You were hooked on it right from the get-go.
Yeah, Woodhull, New York. Is that the one with the little rinky-dinky bathroom?
That's the bowl one. That's that bowl ring with the high banks to it.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so that was my first racing event, and like I said, I went out for Team SBR, and I decided to do multiple vlogs that you guys could see on YouTube. And I had a blast. Just like the atmosphere to the entire racing thing is unique because it's very calm in the morning. Yeah. It's controlled chaos.
Basically,
that's the best way to say is controlled chaos. Because as the racers, as the teams arrive, they're unloading their cars, they're getting them ready, and they're moving diligently, well aware of like the time. The time just flies by, and then next thing you know, you're there at 9 a.m. and it's 11 a.m. now, and it's starting to get loud.
It's chaos for us too behind the scenes as like officials. A lot of us are like before and after the races, we're hanging out in the command center, which is basically Mike Emhoff's parts trailer at the same time. So, and like besides everyone trying to purchase parts, I'm out and about making sure like everything's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking around the pits, checking in on drivers, on any sponsor updates or anything new with them with the car or anything wild lately. During the races, there's controlled chaos as well. Like I'm trying to get lineups and stuff from my fellow officials, and then trying to put together like the results and stuff, and like I'm writing down my press release too at the same time.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out the passing points out of the heat races and figure out the lineups of the features too. And then once we get done, it's just still chaos and victory lane, just trying to get the top 3 all together. And then afterwards, I'm cleaning up, trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
So I can get ready to write the post-race recap and make sure there's no issues in post-race.
So on average, how long is that day for you from wake to the end of the day?
It depends on the track we're at.
Okay.
Honestly. And depends on what happens in the race.
Guesstimate.
So let's see here. Let's just say, for example, because like if I were to say the average time of distance from a track to home, probably say maybe 2 hours or so.
Okay.
So I'm typically at the track by like 2:30. So I'm leaving
2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So I'm leaving. No, heck no. I'll leave probably by around like noon 30 to get to the racetrack. Get there. Set up my PA equipment up in the tower, in the press box, and back down to make sure the rest of the officials don't need anything else. And then it's just walking around, getting ready for the driver's meeting, checking in with a bunch of other people to see what's up. And then once the driver's meeting is wrapped up, because I'll take pictures as well at the same time, post that on social media, maybe do a little social media reel too of some other fun things. Go back up to the tower once the meeting's wrapped up and get ready for race night. Do my talking and babbling during the race. And then once we get done, typically we're done probably, if I were to guess, like if all is good, if there's no time delays or at some other tracks, maybe 10:30. I'm hoping that's a good time for me to get out by. Go back into the trailer and write up the press release, get any sound bites from the top 3. Typically, I'm going to record the Victory Lane interviews at the same time as I'm talking with them.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I'll just talk with them in the pits. And then back in the trailer, I'll write up the press release, get a photo from our series photographer, Erica, or whoever is there if she can't be there, and then write everything up. Race recap, I typically can write up in about maybe 60, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's probably how long I'm in the trailer for and how long we're still packing up until. And then if I'm home probably by like 1:30, 2 a.m., if I can drive home. if it's a farther trip like Fonda or Albany, Saratoga, then I'm actually grabbing a hotel for the night because I'm not one that likes to drive at like 3 a.m. or something like that.
No, these tracks are usually pretty far away,
Yes.
and with SBR, I've stayed in hotels, Airbnbs, campers, whatever the case may be, and it's an extremely long day. From the minute you get there to the minute you leave, the pack up, the load in, it's you're munching on food, things are moving real fast, and then it slows down.
Yes,
and you're just standing there. I mean, not for the teams, you're kind of standing there, but not for you because you're working around the clock, so to speak.
Basically, it's like it's kind of like a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah,
basically, just without the best amount of pay because I mean we're not NASCAR. We're not working full time. We're in it because we love it.
Well, can you tell me a little bit more about CRSA sprints? Do you know the origin of the league? When did it start? And how many neighboring leagues are there?
Oh boy, you're gonna love this story. So and my boss Mike Emhoff says it all the time to other people. So it started off in 2006 by a guy out of Albany. The name stood for Capital Region Sprint Agency or Capital Region Sprint Association.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they were traveling to races all around like the Albany area. There were only like car counts of like 5 a race that were racing. That went up to 10 a race.
Mm-hmm.
And then when a guy, I'm trying to think who it was, Mike Van Dusen, when he purchased the series, it then went up to like we were having a boatload of car counts. And then Mike Emhoff took everything over. And now like we've expanded basically beyond the capital area. We're all over the state. We're out in Pennsylvania and Pencan.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, we were up in Canada, out in Cornwall. And so now the Capital Region Sprint Car Agency doesn't have that meaning. So basically, if we were to put it the cleaner way, can't remember crap anymore, but replace crap with the other word.
Yeah.
So, but like, I mean, as we head into 2026, car counts, like we average like I think 26, 27 cars a race.
Yeah.
And our full-time group was like 15 to 20. Where's that happening with any other series across the country? Besides like the more popular World of Outlaws, High Limit, etc. I don't think any other like 305 series across the country is doing that for the pay as well at the same time. That's like typically 1,000 to win or 4,000 to win at these higher paying shows. It's absolutely incredible to see what the series has gone to do since I started working with them going into the 2024 season at the time.
Yeah.
And it was definitely incredible. So answer your question too about the 305 series. We were talking about this too. This is our second take before we had to cut. So there's a couple of different sprint car tiers. The lowest level is like the micro sprint tier. Mm-hmm. That's like at the lower end racetracks. They're using like motorcycle CC engines. They're neat to watch as well. That's like what you see at the Tulsa shootout too.
Yeah.
The 305s is then the next step up. It's a really nice series for those that want to get into like full on sprint car racing. And at the same time, it's cost affordable, pretty good on a budget too. Next step is the 360s. That's your Empire Super Sprints type level. That's out in New York and some other places in the area.
Those cars are unique. The first time I saw that was Mikey got a ride along in someone else's car. Mm-hmm. And they're loud, man. They're a lot louder than the 305s.
They're all loud,
They're powerful, man.
Yeah. So they got the 360s, a little bit more powerful and faster than a 305. Yep. And then the top level is the 410. That's the most powerful, the fastest, the toughest to drive. That's your World of Outlaws, your High Limit. Those are the best of the best, to say the least. So, in terms of like competing 305 sprint car series, there's a bunch around the area. I was talking with Debbie Gastelio about this at the EMPA press convention that I was at this past weekend. She's a big 305 sprint car fan too. A lot of it is like Race Saver that's controlled by like IMCA, and two that's like all over like a bunch of different states. There's the Mid Atlantic Sprint Car Series, the PA Sprint Series, Laurel Highlands. There's a bunch around, but in my opinion, I don't think there's any as sweet as CRSA that's running for the pay that the drivers are going for. What Mike Emhoff brings to the series to at the same time. I mean, heck, besides the series, like I mentioned, he's got a parts business, and that parts business travels with him basically throughout the tour. So, like, if a driver is looking for sprint car parts, they're going right to Mike. If they're looking for methanol, they're going right to Mike. So it's incredible.
Go over there and you need a tire, you go pick it up from Mike, anything you need. Yeah.
If there's a tire, they'll either pick it up from Mike at the headquarters in Sodus, or they'll pick it up right at the track.
Yeah, very smart on his part to do that, knowing that people are going to need the parts in that situation. So to just have them on hand ready to go is definitely a big move. Now, let me ask you this. When do you think, why do you think the shift in CRSA, like the culture, like the amount of teams that started coming to you guys, why do you think that is? Do you think it's the social media presence you guys have, the tracks that you guys race on, maybe just the word of mouth?
I think there's a couple different things, too, that applies to it. I think, number one, the series is more cost affordable, which makes it easier for, like, those that want to go racing. They can purchase a 305 sprint car, whether it be full on, a roller without the engine, or just hop in somebody else's car. I think it's just easier cost-wise compared to, like, maybe racing, like, a Sportsman modified or a late model or a 360 or a big block, anything like that. I think the 305 series is really cost efficient. I think that's the first thing that factors to it. Number two, I think the things that we did going into the 20th anniversary last year made a lot of drivers, want to run. One of the things we did last year were a bunch of different waves of giveaways. So like you entered these specific races. I'm trying to remember the one we did. I think it was Weed Sport. I think it was 2 Weed Sport races, and I want to say Fulton and Burton. I can't remember off the top of my head. If you enter like all that string of races, you'd be eligible you would be entered into a random giveaway that would have a different part on the line. So like there was a XXX chassis on the line. There was another set of tracks. Like there was like Albany, Saratoga, and like another set of tracks. You could be eligible to win, say, a set of brakes.
Yep.
Or like Ransomville, Land of Legends, you'd be eligible to win a rear end. So like the guy that put it all together, absolutely incredible. He loves sprint car racing. He started as like a crew chief, and now he's getting into racing himself. He has been phenomenal with not just CRSA, but all over sprint car racing, is a big supporter of it. And without him, I don't think like the funds would not be where they are, the purse or the car counts that we've had. So the parts giveaway has been one of them. Another thing as well, I think it's been our presence online too.
Okay.
With me,
who helps on the media team? I know you said your media, you are one of the sole proprietors on media, but like who's really capturing all these moments of the media for you guys?
So our photographer is Erica Bai, and a big shout out to her. She does a phenomenal job with the photographers, and shout out as well to her fiance, who sadly passed, was our series photographer at the time, Evan Canfield. And after he passed, she told us that she's still going to continue the EC Media. That's the brand name of their photography business.
Got it.
And so like I was so happy to hear that like Erica was still continuing, and she did a lot more CRSA races with us this season, and she's such a good friend. I want to give her credit for all the photos she does. Her work is absolutely outstanding. So she's a big help to me when it comes to if I need some photos. She's right there in an instant. So
awesome.
A lot of it though on like the social media that could be me. So like if you're seeing like the random questions that I'm asking drivers, those funny reels that turned that
the baby reels.
Yep, the baby. My gosh.
Are you the creator of the baby reels?
Yes, I am. with the assistance of a little AI too.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll tell you the story about that. It was just a random week in May. The baby photos were trending. So I'm like, you know what? I
Yeah.
want to see if I can. It was the baby videos. Like I think I saw someone turn like Joe Rogan into a baby, or like Trump into a baby, or
Mhm.
something like that. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's do that with our CRSA drivers. Every time I think of a crazy idea, I'll text Mike. What do you think of this? My boss is thinking like, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm nuts. But hey, it works. It really does.
You got a lot of love, man.
He's like, go for it. So like, I'll put it together. I'll take a screenshot of a driver in like victory lane getting interviewed.
Yep.
And I'll put into Chat GPT. Can you turn this person to a baby? And then I'll go into a video editing website that I use that's also AI, and I'm like, turn this person into a baby. Take this person, match it with this audio that I've supplied, and like the results. Like when I saw it first, I'm just laughing my rear off.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely outstanding. Then I put the compilation together. The next day, I'm seeing all the comments flying on social media. Everyone's telling me at the track that's the best thing that they've ever seen.
People
so
loved
I'm like,
it. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, we're turning this into a series in every couple months. Everyone loves it. So, and then we have all the then we had the boat photo. We had that we were like 2 weeks without a race. So I'm like, all right, sprint cars into boats. Probably probably our most viewed post ever in CRSA history. I'm not kidding.
I don't think I've seen that post. I got to see it.
Oh yeah, wait.
Sprint cars into boats.
Yes. I'll show you. Wait till you see
Okay,
it.
all right.
It's insane. Everyone was going nuts over it.
That's funny,
It
man.
was like, I think people were like, okay, I think we just found a new motorsport, or boat racing with wings on top of it, basically. So that's happened. And then like our race day presence when we're posting stuff on social media.
Yeah.
We're talking about the race and how incredible it is. You know, track promoters want the numbers that we're providing them, whether not just car counts. They want to see the views. They want to see the butts in those seats, and we're providing it.
Yeah.
I think it was, you know, and like a lot of people can consider us like an undercard series too at the same time.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So like, for example, the Super Dirt Car Series, the biggest
Gotcha.
big block modified series in the Northeast, and like the biggest series like regionally in dirt racing up in our area.
Mm-hmm.
We're typically the undercard race for 3 races with them. Last season, 2 of them were at Weed Sport, one of them at Land of Legends. This was eventually rained out. We were the undercard. We were the feature after the Super Dirt Car Series feature. I don't think I've seen that many fans stay to watch the sprint cars after the big blocks, because typically when they watch the big blocks, they'll just get up and leave.
Yeah.
But they wanted to stay for the 305 sprints because people were hearing how good of the race of the racing we were. A lot of the racing was clean. The numbers we were doing on social media at the same time were incredible. They were hearing stuff in the comments like, you got to come out to these races. And it's great to see the positivity, the reception that we're getting from CRSA. Like I said, more tracks want us than ever.
Yeah.
Car counts are up on our series than they've ever been in the past. Web traffic is up. Social traffic is up. People want to see the CRSA sprints.
So let me ask you this, right? Let's Michael's never been to one of these races, and he never experienced it, right?
Mike, we got to get you to a sprint car race now.
So for someone who has never been to it, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe it to them? Why does it draw you? What do you get excited about while being there? You know, as a casual fan, what excites you?
So when you think of short track racing or any form of oval race, you'll think of like NASCAR. They're like, oh, they're making another left turn. But then when you go to like an asphalt oval race, they're, you know, let's just say they're a little slow. Like you got to go heavy on the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're watching you're at a dirt track and you watch these sprint cars fly by you at the speeds they're going, how much they're slipping and sliding through the corners without wrecking a car.
Yeah.
It's like insane. It's like, these are like, I call CRSA the future stars of sprint cars, and like the drivers in like the World of Outlaws or High Limit, the greatest sprint car drivers in the world today, or maybe the greatest race car drivers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I really think, because like dirt racing is a completely different animal from asphalt racing. Really is.
Now, what you know, I kind of know a little bit about it, but like, what's the comparison? Obviously, we're on dirt and we're on asphalt, so there's 2 different things. You know, like, what is so keen about dirt racing? What do people need to do in order to be successful at dirt racing?
I think there's a lot of different things.
Okay.
Obviously, you want to have good equipment, you want to have good talent, but the thing unique about dirt racing compared to asphalt racing is asphalt, you've got entirely layer of asphalt. You don't need to do anything
No
about
maintenance
it.
done.
No
at
maintenance
all.
done with that. Where dirt track racing, the promoters or whoever's working on the track, they
Yeah.
got to get it ready. You got to have a multitude of factors. You don't want to have it dusty. You don't want to have it taking rubber to the point where there's no passing, just makes the entire race boring. You want to have a track that has multiple grooves for drivers to pass. You want to have a cushion up there on the high side. That's the thing. And I think the other thing that's unique about dirt racing, drivers have to figure out, okay, what line is the fastest at the
best
moment?
line,
Because a track could change at any time. You don't see that one bit.
It changes
in asphalt
drastically.
racing. You don't see that one bit on an asphalt race unless they're putting down a layer of PJ1. And I can't stand when racetracks are putting down PJ1 like that.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
It's basically resin or like a chemical. It's they put it on like drag strips just to make the track like sticky and try and get like some extra grip down there. I hate when tracks do that. So like when like with dirt racing, it's natural, man-made track stuff, basically man-made clay that, you gotta alter it to make sure that you give your fans a good show for not just and your drivers a good show, not just for hot laps or heats, but going into the feature too.
Yeah, they take care of it. And
you gotta care for it, indeed.
And they got it, in the middle of like in between features and the heat races, they'll go out there and they'll.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sorry to interrupt, but, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, equipment issues, so we had to continue the podcast through Zoom. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this episode. Thank you for sticking with us.
That's like Alexa talking to you. I didn't know that they do that. So here we are. This is actually a Middleman Podcast second.
Take 4, I think this is we're doing. Part 2.
Yeah. Part 2. You're back home in Buffalo. We are expecting a heck of a storm this weekend.
We all are.
and we just had to finish our conversation and pick up where we left off, man. So, I appreciate you for coming out. I appreciate my people for being here and listening and still continuing and following with us despite all the technical difficulties. What happens is you put equipment away, you bring it back out, all of a sudden the wire doesn't want to work, and here we are.
Well, it sounds like your wire's working this time.
It's working fantastic. So, Marty, thank you for taking the time out of your day and rescheduling with me and finishing out this podcast and being here for CRSA.
Yeah, not a problem, man. I'm glad we could work this out today. You got a nice studio. It's pretty cool to see what it looks like in person. At least on the bright side, I don't have to walk in a maze today.
You're right. And since the last time you saw me, I have a little bit of a better walking foot.
Good.
So life has been life and life's been good, man. So yeah, let's just continue talking about CRSA and the series itself. We talked about the history in the past about where it originated from and how long it's been around, and now it's like at the pinnacle. And I remember we were talking about how much CRSA has been able to like give away, and I want to talk about an experience that I've experienced through the banquet that you guys host at the end of the year. And man, oh man, did you guys have a tremendous amount of reward to give out to all the racers who were attending this banquet, So what can you attest to like the contribution to be able to do something like that and how much it's meant to CRSA to be able to give back to the racers?
So when a lot of tracks want us and a lot of drivers want to join in, and we get a bunch more sponsors as well stepping up, that definitely helps, with the purse money. I won't go too much into like the details of like the season purse or like how much like Zach Sabaka won as champion, but he won a pretty decent amount, more than I think our champion for the year before did in 2024. But like, for example, like we had like a typical CRSA race is $1,000 to win. However, though, a lot of tracks wanted to do something special with us. One Hole Raceway, for example, we did a 2-night show. We brought back the New York 305 Nationals. That was a $4,000 to win show. That was a very successful show. We went to Outlaw Speedway to close the season. The Hogue Memorial. That was also a 4,000 to win show. Some drivers, when you think of 4,000 to win shows for 305s, that's insanely huge for them. They all want to come out and win. And when Billy Van Emeren and Dylan Paddock took the checkered flags and were out in victory lane celebrating, for each of them, the biggest win of their careers, basically. Because everything else they basically won in a sprint car was typically 1,000 to win in a 305 or lower. Now this year, because we just put out our schedule last week, this year we'll have two of our shows at Outlaw, I should say, will each pay over 1,000 to win. I want to say for our show in July at Outlaw in Dundee, that's a $2,011 show to win. And then in October to close our season, that's going to be 4,000 to win once again. And whenever we have purses like that, drivers want to come out and see what they can do and see if they have a good shot at taking home some purse money. And I think it's just incredible to see the support that CRSA has gotten from everyone last season when we celebrated our 20th anniversary, and all that support continues on to this year.
Dude, it's absolutely amazing how many people come out for a big purse event, you know?
Oh my gosh. Like, let me go back to that. Like we were just talking about Outlaw, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the year, now take this for example, because I made a post on this. I gotta see if I can find this on my Facebook page. Bear with me here. I'm actually gonna look this up on the PC while I'm talking, so you can still see me. Let's see here. Marty Czekala, Outlaw. I don't believe, if I recall correctly, I had seen. Okay, so it was the Hogue Memorial, it was Outlaw season finale, and they always have a boatload of different classes a night, or a day in particular. They had 190 cars there altogether. The pits were so full, they had to start parking cars in the infield. And when they do that, you know it's a huge thing. The stands, absolutely packed for our race. I saw fans there for the sprint cars, all wanting to celebrate with Dylan Paddock in Victory Lane. And then once that wrapped up, a bunch of people headed out, because a lot of them come from sprint cars. And Tyler Seary, the track promoter, is a big supporter of sprint cars and wants to bring sprint car shows out like CRSA, like ESS. He was the first track in New York to have a high limit race too. So I can't remember how many cars we had in CRSA altogether that night, but it was when we see that at Outlaw, it's pretty special. I mentioned as well, I think I mentioned this on part 1 when we were at Weed Sport. We were the feature after the Super Dirt Car Series in July before it started to rain. A bunch of fans, like typically, obviously, when the Super Dirt Car Series is done, a bunch of the crowd heads home. But I don't recall, like, some of them left, but I think a majority of the crowd stayed for the 305 sprint cars because they always put on a great show at Weed Sport. They've never disappointed there since I started watching them there. So, and then I'm trying to think of some other tracks too that kept fans in the stands, but like there's a bunch.
Now, those two tracks, personally, have to be my favorite tracks. Weedsport, I think anyone who ever goes to Weedsport, you know, that could definitely be number one. They have in the pits, they have a TV projecting onto the track. You know, they have all types of bells and whistles. You know, at Weedsport, it's
Weedsport's
a phenomenal,
beautiful facility.
Beautiful facility, and I absolutely love being there and going there. Now, Outlaws, the Nationals, that I was there for that. Okay, that was like, so
Yep.
This is my inaugural year to racing. Okay, and so when I see the pits, you know, not be as packed for, you know, let's just say a smaller race, and then to be at Outlaws day 2, like day 2, getting into the gates was horrendous. Like, as you said, there were cars parking in the infield. Never seen it a day in my life. I believe that there were like definitely over 150 cars there, man. Like, just from all different classes, and there were so many people there, and it was such an exciting atmosphere. And they have the nice watchtower at Outlaws. And yeah, I had the pleasure of doing a vlog there with Team SBR and just seeing them, chase gold in at 305s, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to that's like the Super Bowl for you guys is Outlaws. Like, it's insane.
There's a couple other tracks I love going to. Obviously, you mentioned Wheatsboro. That's one of my favorite facilities. Absolutely beautiful. I think, in my opinion, it's one of the cleanest facilities in dirt racing in maybe not just the state of New York, but I think the entire country. Chase Rodman and I, who announces for High Limit the 410 series, he and I are really good friends. And he's got his YouTube channel. He mentioned like the top 10 tracks that he loves, and Weed Sport's actually inside the top 10, I believe, if I recall correctly. So it's a track that everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to get up on Victory Hill for. You got to go watch a 305 sprint car race, though, at Land of Legends sometimes, Kevin. Like, I know.
Where's
yes,
Land of Legends?
That's up in Canandaigua.
Okay.
So I'd probably have to say it's about maybe 45 minutes from Dundee or something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. But we host, I think we've got 4 races on the schedule there this year, if not 3. And the 305 sprints, they're the Land of Legends is the only track that has 305 sprints weekly. So not just a full CRSA show, but like a weekly Saturday night show. And so we'll have 305 sprints no matter what there. And they put on one heck of a show no matter what. The racing's always been fantastic there whenever I watch the sprint cars. There's always a story out there when it comes to the 305 sprints. I've been going to Land of Legends for what's it been now? I think this year will be my 7th year going to races at Land of Legends. And I mean, Paul Cole and his gang, the promoter, they just do a fantastic job with the plates and in all different assets. I mean, he's got an incredible staff. Now, I'll work obviously not just the CRSA side, but also on the broadcast side, filling in from time to time as either a pit reporter or announcer. And the broadcast team that they've got set up, led by Art and Steve Ovens. Oh my gosh, it's just so much fun to work with those guys. Whenever I get the chance to step up, we have a good time together.
The Land of Legends. I've definitely heard of it before, and I think I was invited, but I had something going on, so I missed it this year.
We hope to see you guys this year there.
you take on so many. Well, you're in every single track. You're at every single event. Recalling this past year that just happened. Can you just name off some of your favorite, maybe like top moments that you've experienced, either calling or interviewing a champion or whatever the case may be?
Some of my favorite moments this year. Well, I started off the year filling in for one of the announcers at Ransomville. They have a 2-man booth, and so I was the fill-in on the second guy. And they have the 358 modified, so they've got small blocks. And the 2 best drivers there are Matt Williamson and Eric Rudolph. And if you don't know Matt Williamson, he is probably the best modified driver out there right now. And like the final laps, the 2 were trading slide jobs for the race win, as I like to call it, slide job city. It's just whenever you have drivers
slide job city.
Yep. Whenever drivers put on a show like that, it just makes you think, wow, that was awesome. So on the CRSA side this season, there were some awesome moments this season. Obviously based off the hoodie you're wearing, the Smith brothers, Johnny and Mikey, each winning at the same track in Thunder Mountain. We were at twice at this year. Johnny winning, I think, back early June. And then like a month later, Mikey takes the win at the same track. And then in victory lane, Johnny comes sprinting from the pits in turn number 1 to get to victory lane to hug his brother. That's one of my favorite moments of the season.
He had a rough day that day.
Yeah, he flipped that day, and somehow I think he finished in the top 5 after all that.
Wow.
That was absurd. The way he drove that thing.
Some of these guys flip is wow. It's like the scariest. You hold your breath.
Yeah, well,
it's insane.
Well, I mean, yes, flipping without question is definitely scary. Is it normal, a part of the sprint car racing side of things? Yes, it is, because when you think of the physics, it's so easy for those cars to have a weight shift. You look at the Chili Bowl, for example. They've got a flip they've got a flip count for crying out loud. No, those
Flipping
cars,
chips.
those cars flipped more than regular 305 sprint cars. But that's just part of the game. So, other favorite moments. Zach Sabaka taking his first win of the year, first career CRSA victory at Utica Rome. The year before at that same track, he took the checkered flag first, but then got DQ'd for coming up light on the scales. And that same race too, he actually won the race without a front wing, and that's like a lot of downforce. Somehow he crossed that line first. I don't know how. So I was so happy when I looked at the starting lineup, that Sabaka starting pole. I'm like, oh my gosh, could this actually happen once again? And so, but he wasn't celebrating too much until tech inspection finished up, just to be safe than sorry. Then he and I are talking in the pits after the race. The tech guy says, "You finally got one, congrats." Then I saw a smile light up on his face. So, let's see
Man,
what
that
else
must be
here.
rough if
Yeah.
that happens, man. That's got
Definitely.
be so tough.
Yeah. Let's see other moments this year. The Moss family, Cameron Moss, he's a young 15-year-old guy. Moved up last season from the go-kart level, I believe it was. And, he and his team, he and his parents and family, they started off, you start off slow, you're just trying to get used to the things in the sprint car. And so they're great people. And to see Cameron win one last year in a great race between him and John Smith, I was pit reporting that day. That was definitely awe-inspiring, to say the least. Seeing Cameron and his dad celebrate after that, they go through a lot together, whether it be ups and downs is around the pits. You know what I say about not just Sabaka, but also Dylan Paddock when they battled for the championship this year. The second half, it was always like one's winning and the other one's finishing second. When those two found each other, the battles were absolutely crazy between the two. It was like something out of Formula One, and I love F1. And it was just so cool to see them battle for the win basically every race, battle for the championship, and then after Outlaw, the two shaking hands before Paddock took the win. Yeah, so many, so many great moments this year. I was so happy to be part of CRSA once again in 2025. Man, I'm getting my eyes are watering up from that because there were just so many damn cool moments this year.
Yeah, it's exuberating, and I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Zavaka and Paddock at the banquet. And everyone's pretty down to earth and really good people, good guys. They all really enjoy the sport, and there's such a competitive edge out there. But
Yeah.
when it's all said and done with, it's always bygones be bygones, and you shake hands and they just have a good time, man. They're all basically the same person, just all chasing
Exactly.
the same thing, So it's a really cool dynamic that is built in the rivalry of the
Yeah.
sport,
Mhm.
because then outside of the sport, it's it's all love and respect,
Yeah.
So
I
it's really,
I
really cool.
I do have another favorite moment I want to mention that's just outside of the racing side. We did something pretty cool at Thunder Mountain the night that Mikey won, too. The promoter at Ransomville, which CRSA went to twice this year, Tana, a couple days after I called the slide job battle at Ransomville, she was actually diagnosed with breast cancer, and it broke a lot of people's hearts. Alicia Bay, Daryl Ruggles, and their family are very close with Tana. And Ransomville in July they did a pink out challenge, and they challenged a lot of different tracks, a lot of different series. They'll hold a pink out night for everyone to wear pink in honor of Tana.
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
and Alicia actually challenged CRSA to do something. So I'm like, let me talk to. So I text Alicia, let me talk with Mike about this. This is something that I want to do. Mike was all in on it, and so we did a pink out night. So many people wearing pink. So many people donating to, I believe it was an angel fund out at Roswell. But it was just such a successful night. It shows that the racing community is all a big family when we support each other on and off the track, no matter if we're having a bad night or not.
Yeah, That is absolutely beautiful. I'm glad that they were able to do that, and all come together as a unity. You guys really do it. You guys are all really really awesome people. I have a great time at all these events, man. I want to ask you, have you ever like I've seen that they have like ride along sprint cars. Okay, so
Yeah,
you
the
told me
two-seaters.
you've never driven one, correct?
Nope, I've never.
Okay. Have you ever done a ride along or anything of the sort?
So I did a ride along over a decade ago. This was before I got into sprint car racing. I was at Charlotte Motor Speedway attending the NASCAR chase race. At the time, this was before they turned it into the Roval. This was like I think 2014 or something like that. And a day after the Cup race, my parents and I stayed an extra day just to check out the Richard Petty driving experience is what it was at the time. Now it's I think the NASCAR racing experience or NASCAR driving experience. I did 3 laps in a ride along at Charlotte, going up to 163, 165 miles an hour. I mean, the speeds were absolutely
Wow.
absurd. My jaw dropped from the moment I got on the racetrack. It was absolutely crazy. I still have photos. I still have the flash drive of the video from that day. That's a moment I won't forget.
That's something that I would love to experience. I need to
It's
find one of these cars.
safe to say that like because they have a lot of racing experiences around the NASCAR tracks,
Yeah.
it is absolutely worth the couple bucks to do once every couple years. I definitely want to do a ride along once again, but like
Yeah.
it is absolutely worth the money.
I don't like. I really I admire these drivers, man, because the skill it takes to compete in something like this. I've gone in the simulator and I talk my smack that I'll set the quick time, but I know I won't. you know,
Yeah.
Man, oh man, your forearms, just having to hold the G force, when you're coming around the bend, and maybe a 360 as compared to a 305. But either way, just a torque, the way these cars move, man, it's unbelievable. Like
When you
especially on the torque aspect of it, because I remember seeing in a Chili Bowl these cars when they were hammering down, they were pulling wheelies, man, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, the G.
when you watch like the in car or sprint car, it's absolutely crazy, crazier than watching NASCAR's in car or something like that. Kent Squire, Godspeed, one of the pioneers of racing of short track announcing, and eventually the lead man for NASCAR when they were on CBS from the 70s to the 90s. He had a saying that was common men doing uncommon things, and this is basically what what our drivers are. They are common men. They have a 9 to 5 day job, most of them, that are doing uncommon things, driving a race car. And there was a saying too. I met one of the racing announcers, Dave Moody, this past weekend at as we're recording at a convention in Wilkes-Barre, and he mentioned something that Ken Squire would say. For example, take our champion from 2024, Kyle Pierce. He is a 4th grade teacher at Spencer Van Etten High School, I believe it is. So tomorrow for example, on the weekdays, he is a 4th grade teacher, but today when he wins a race, he is a hero. And that's one of my what do you call it? Not a goal, but it's one of my key goals in the CRSA gig. I want to tell the stories of these drivers and basically make them heroes. I want to see T-shirts of them in the stands every weekend. I want to make them look like heroes.
I love that, Marty. That is exactly what your job is, man. And I see that you execute and you spend the countless hours on and off the clock in order to get this done, whether it be, reporting for the after results, being there live and direct, and just an all around working around the clock type of guy, day, enthusiast, hobbyist. That's you, bro. You're doing it. And, I don't want to end this podcast just yet, but we are going to have to like restart the timer real quick because we're gonna run out of recording time. So
Okay.
we're gonna put this on pause real quick. We'll pick up. We got about maybe like 15, 20 more minutes, and then we'll be right back. So we'll be right back, Marty. Give us
All
1
right.
second here. I'm gonna end the recording and then restart it.
Okay.
And so we're back. So this is part 3 of a 5-part podcast. As we were saying, man, we were just talking about all the experience that these guys go through. How tough it is to do this kind of sport, and just common guys doing uncommon things, man. I really like that quote. I think that is the best way to put it. As well as females.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into tea time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. We don't have Arizona, but it's all right. It's just a part of the nature of the show here. So Marty, there's questions in here, and usually you pick the one, but since you're not,
You got to pick it for me.
I'll pick it for you. So here we go. Welcome to tea time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. All right. Just pick that one, the first one that I saw. And here we go. The tea time question of the day is... Oh, this one was put in yesterday. And this one's a weird one, okay? This one's a weird one. Ready?
Okay.
If you could pick any superpower, what would it be? But you're going to lose your ability to swim. Like, there's no combating that. Like, you're just going to lose your ability to swim, okay?
Okay,
So
well...
what a weird...
Yeah, that is weird.
A weird little clause.
It's funny you say that because I think I mentioned this on our last recording, but I did swimming in high school too. So, and I haven't really put the swim trunks on since then. So, ability, I want to fly like Superman, basically, to say the least.
Okay.
Is that what a lot of people have been saying when it comes to that question?
Well, this question only gets used once and it is discarded.
Okay.
It's not like it's a recurring question.
Okay.
We always switch it up, and I'll be asking you for a question as well. So it could be anything. It could be anything as silly as that. It could be something serious. It could be what's better, jelly or jam. Something.
Gotcha.
Like that.
Okay.
So that's how tea time works. But it's just a break in the conversation. But the answer to that, like I was like, so what if I chose to be a fish? And they were like, you can be a fish, but you can't swim.
You're basically a fish out of water.
Yeah, I'm like, how does that even work? So my superpower, my ability, fly like Superman. That's a good one. I think I might just want to test the waters a little bit because I don't want to lose the sensation of being in water, right? So, but if you can fly through water, right? Does it work that way? Does it work? Or are you swimming? Can you fly through water, or is that considered swimming?
That's considered swimming, I believe.
All right. I'm glad we cleared the air on that one.
Hang on. There we go.
I'm glad we cleared the air on that one because that would have been a controversial topic. But I think I think flying in water is technically swimming. But I would want to do like some teleportation. Like teleportation. That's what I want to do. Like, what if I want to jump in the water, but I know I can't get out of there with swimming, but at least I can hold my breath until I'm like, all right, let's teleport out of here. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my thought process on that. What a weird clause. What would your superpower be? But just understand you're going to lose the ability to swim. What a weird one. So anyway, tea time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Marty, I'll be asking your question, and I'm excited to see what you got in mind. So other than covering, CRSA, you are also announcing outside, the off season. What is your off season like for you? What other sports are you covering? What other activities are you doing for yourself? What are you all about?
So my day job is I am the midday DJ at CJ Country. It's a local country radio station out in Warsaw, about a half hour from where I live. And so I do the 10 to 2 shift on the radio station. I'm doing some production work, so I'm like creating some advertisements when asked to. I'm putting together some community calendars for the week. I'm also making sure that that commercials are good to go when needed. Making sure that nothing's popping up where it'll automatically skip. Let's see. There's a couple of other things too. So I'm also doing like remote breaks. I'm also doing like remotes when needed, and calling high school games too on the radio station. Which I mean, I don't do a lot of that, but needed just in case. So, and then I'm also the fill-in morning DJ too when needed, and news guy, and hosting as well on weekends, specifically Tradio Hour, buy, sell, and trade show.
I'm sorry, what was the last one?
It's Tradio. It's where people call in, wanting to sell their items or looking for items or trade anything, but they don't put their names in. They just put their phone numbers and where they're from. You never know what happens on that show.
That's interesting.
It's a popular show for us. A lot of people listen to it all over Western New York. Wanting to buy. It's like Facebook Marketplace, but for radio, to say the least. So.
And are you basically like negotiating this call, or are you?
I am. People will call us or send us text messages, and we'll feed it over the air. Basically.
Really, that's very neat, man. That's pretty cool. That's fun. So basically, you're full time in your element, using your voice to carry you through your career, through your livelihood.
Basically, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I forgot to mention this too. When we're not in racing season, I'm the play-by-play guy for SUNY Brockport, the Golden Eagles. That's where I went to college for my bachelor's. They're an NCAA Division III school. Even small town colleges rock, and I love the camaraderie around Brockport. And so I do like football, soccer, basketball, hockey, baseball, softball, and lacrosse. So many sports I do around there when it's not racing season. So have a good time with it.
And you elaborate. You said play by play, so that means are you like live calling the box? Or are you live calling over radio?
Live calling over a video feed.
A video feed. Okay, yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for you. That is Marty, man. You got a lot of things going for yourself, man. Especially in the media realm. And you do a fantastic job. And what I love most about it is how passionate you are about it. You know what I mean, man? I can just see how much joy it brings to you to be able to talk and share these experiences with all these athletes and these families and these, just any sport, man. You find yourself in an exciting atmosphere. Sports bring people together, and you're fully submerged in it, man, and you're doing it. So good for you, man. I'm glad that, you have that very fun, sounds like it's a very fun, round-the-clock lifestyle for you.
It can get busy. Sometimes you'll have those hell weeks where you just got so much going on throughout the week. But other than that, I'm still having a good time with it.
Good, man. Well, we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come visit me. Reschedule the podcast, and we got it done, and I'm just glad to be here with you. So if there's any closing statements before we get off the air that you want to give to the people, maybe someone who's never seen CRSA, we've covered it so much. You guys really got to get out there. Check out the vlogs that I've covered. To the drivers out there, I want to meet other drivers, me personally, Marty. So I hope you can help me with that. Because, SBR, they're my peoples, but all in all, I just want to enjoy the sport and enjoy just tips to the trade, how they do it and how they get it done, man. It's a very unique thing. So the floor is yours, Marty. Take it away.
Yeah, Kev, first off, I definitely appreciate you having me on your podcast. I still see the little signature I signed there on the chalkboard in the background. So, but now we've got, I think, a 25 race calendar or so on the year, dominantly in New York, but we'll go to Pennsylvania twice this season. I think we got another track as well on the schedule. We're still double checking on that too. But season's not too far away. May 8th is our first race. It'll be here sooner than you think. Yes, look, we're getting a heck of a lot of snow this weekend, and it feels like the Arctic tundra basically all weekend long. But regardless, it's still going to clear up regardless, and we'll be racing sooner than you know it. Like I said, about 25 races or so throughout the Northeast. Bunch of different broadcasts will be on as well. If you want to learn more about us, CRSAsprints.com, and follow us on social media, Facebook and X at CRSA Sprints. If you want to follow me personally, I am on Facebook. I'm on a lot of the social medias, minus TikTok, Facebook, X, Instagram, at Marty Czekala, Czekala, because my last name is tough to spell. I don't post a lot on social media from time to time with how busy I am on my schedule. I'll post like sometimes one a day, or not like super common all over social media. So, but yeah, you can follow me there. See what my grind is like from time to time, and onward to whatever the next gig is, whether it be racing season or Brockport. I'm ready for summer, to say the least, Kevin. I'm ready for summer. I'm ready for racing season. Although the first thing we got to get through as well is the Motorsports Expo out in Syracuse, just under 2 months from now.
It'll be here quicker than you know it, my friend.
Exactly.
We'll be live. We'll be out there, and we'll be having a great time in the pits and on the track, man. So, Marty, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everyone who's watched this episode. Thank you to CRSA for allowing me to be there and enjoy the vlogs and do what I do and really learn a new sport and just enjoy it. So, as I say for the podcast and for the vlogs, man, boogity, boogity, boogity boy. Let's go racing. I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing out. Peace.